afternoon, friends. I hope you had a good lunch, and welcome to TIZEN Developer Summit 2015. So we'll be starting off with our first sessions on TV. So myself, Avnish Jain, and my colleague Ajit will be going you through to Tizen TV SDK and its extensive features that enable developers to respond quickly and flexibly to the changing developer and consumer needs, thereby taking TV to another level. So in today's session, we'll talk about Tizen TV applications, its structure and horizon. Then we'll talk about Tizen TV SDK in detail, having two main concepts: the developing APIs it provides, and then the development suite it provides. And finally, we'll take you through a tour of application registration on Tizen Store. So starting off with Tizen TV applications and its structure. So the first thing that comes to mind before we jump to Tizen TV applications is why Samsung chose Tizen as a TV platform. Tizen is an open platform enabling, encouraging community innovation and giving flexibility to users to adapt to UX design. Secondly, it is a cross-device, cross-architecture solution enabling developers to create solutions on an array of devices. Currently, Tizen is available on TV, mobile phones, wearables and cameras. Tizen is supporting full HTML5, so that gives a flexibility to developers to create a robust crop of applications with extensibility and scalability. Tizen utilizes the processing power and resources very efficiently, thereby achieving better performance. Tizen flexibility enables developers, OEMs to build applications, services and business models to enhance their brand value and cater to the growing user needs. So now let's start off with what exactly is Tizen TV web application. A Tizen TV web application is an amalgamation of best of the TV features and the power of web. So as you all know, TV is a very different device. So Tizen TV web application combines the features of TV like input, multimedia capabilities and size with the connectivity features of internet. You can create a plethora of applications using Tizen TV SDK. To name a few, video on demand applications can be created by content providers and developers who are working on the streaming media. Then you can create games on HTML and Unity. You can extend your games to multiple devices like mobile and TV by creating multi-screen applications. Then if you have a lot of content as an information, you can create informational apps. The big screen of a TV is a plus for e-learning domain, so you can create educational apps also, and the list goes on and on. So let's talk about a very basic structure of Tizen web apps. A Tizen web app is very similar to a normal web application, wherein you are using standard web technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, wherein your HTML provides you the DOM manipulation part, CSS gives you the style elements for DOM, and the JavaScript gives you the power to check out your application and control it. Now the differentiation point. The differentiation point comes in the XML, that is the config.xml, which incorporates authentication, permissions, multilingual support, and application settings, so that your application can run on TV and can be registered on Tizen Web Store. So the next question is, how can I create an application using Tizen TV SDK? So there are just 4 simple steps. Set up your environment by downloading Tizen TV SDK from Samsung D forum as per your platform and install it as per the release notes mentioned there. Then you are ready with your setup. Second thing, design your application and develop your application based on the Tizen APIs provided by the SDK and the development suite provided by the SDK. Now once you have developed that application, you have to package those applications and authenticate your application, and that authentication and packaging comes out to be a WGT file. So this can also be done by Tizen TV SDK. Once you have packaged your application, now your application need to be certified. So for certification, you need to register your application to Samsung App Store. After certification is done, your application will be available on Tizen App Store, and from there it can be downloaded on the TV and can be checked out or run. So we will be talking about the development and debugging part here. We will be talking about the packaging, that is the registration part, in our next couple of slides. So that was all about application, web applications on Tizen TV. Now let us just talk about, can I take it in the last? It will be much better. Thank you so much. Yeah, the slides will be not after the session, that I think will be uploaded on the site. Okay, so can I continue? Sure. Thank you. So we just talked about Tizen TV applications in a nutshell. Now let us just talk about what exactly is Tizen TV SDK, what it offers. So Tizen TV SDK comes in 2 flavors. The first flavor is the public SDK, that is open to everyone, and it is available for Mac, Linux and Windows OS. The SDK gives you ability to develop applications using standard HTML5 and CSS and JavaScript APIs. Now to incorporate the TV specific features, it gives you APIs like web device APIs for accessing TV functions, TV product APIs to have specialized functions on the TV, then multi-screen APIs that enable your cross device communication applications, and finally Caph, a web application framework to accelerate your web applications. So that was all about development APIs. Then it provides you extensive suite of development tools. So this was all about public SDK. Coming on to the next flavor, partner SDK. The partner SDK is available only to partners, and you can create native as well as web applications using partner SDK. You need to go to developer.samsung.com to check out how to become a partner and then sign it off. Besides other things, it provides some more features like DRM support, multi-app support. These kind of features are available there. Both the SDKs provide you extensive development and debugging tools. So we'll be talking about Web Inspector in the next slides. In this session, we will be talking primarily on public SDK. So let's see how it evolved over the years. So it started off in July 2014 with a beta version, wherein we provided the development test suite and the tools. Then we moved on to Caph, wherein we provided the web application framework. Then at this stage, on June 25th, SDK 1.5 is released, having the major API multi-screen. So multi-screen APIs gives you the power to converge your devices. We'll talk in detail in next couple of slides. And what's coming next? So we'll have an integrated installer coming in down the line for SDK. Now let's talk about the development APIs of the SDK and what exactly it offers. So for that, my colleague Ajit will take you forward for that.
Thank you, Avnish. So we have seen the evolution for the public SDK. Now let's see the development API which it offers. So starting with the first, Tizen TV public SDK is built on latest web technologies, provided by HTML5 and defined by W3C. So it's also support the standard web technologies like WebGL, JavaScript, CSS. So by HTML5, you will get a easy and a flexible working environment where you can deploy your application with less fragmentation. So this is like you can have a developer can create an application using these standard technology and TV API to get an impressive application on a TV. Moving to next is Tizen TV development APIs, which are very specific for the TV platform. Now it has web APIs which allow you to control the application lifecycle management. It's exchange the data, schedule information. You would be using web APIs for this purpose. Then you have TV product API to get the device capability. I would be discussing in detail what device capability we do have on TV. Then a multi-screen which provide you a cross-platform convergence, like which give you a seamless connection between a device and a TV. The last one is a Caph, which is a web framework which allow you to create an impressive web application. The more will be coming up in the couple of slides next. So starting in detail with the Tizen TV development APIs. The first one which I told you is web device APIs that allow web developer to create application to get device capabilities. Now this could be categorized in 4 major points. The first one is the application category, which allow you to get the control of application lifecycle management. It has APIs like alarm, which are used for setting and unsetting of alarm. The package APIs, which get you the information of installed and uninstalled packages on the devices. And third is the application, which allow you to get installed and running application on the devices. The second category of API are the controls, which provide you the control of TV. This includes like the audio control, the channel control. So if you want to get information of EPG, that is the program guide, then a channel APIs would be used for the purpose. Similarly, if you want to get control of audio, then audio device APIs are used for the same. Input device allow you to get the events from the device connected to the TV. The third category are the system APIs, which allow you to get the system access like display, devices, storage, etc. Now it has a time API which get you the time, date and time zone. And the last one is web setting, which allow you to get the web view of the application which you are creating. The fourth category is input-output, which allow the developer to access the file system, so that if someone want to create something using some file system API, then file system are used for the purpose. Archives API, like for creating and for archiving your the content, then in that scenario the archive APIs are used for the purpose. Message ports allow you to communicate between another application, so it help you communication between an application. So this was all about web device APIs. Now the product APIs, which I told, which are very specifically for the TV functionalities, are like lot in number, but I would be discovering here some of those which are popularly used among the developers. The first one is App Common API, which allow you to get the control of screensaver and plugin on devices. Second is, like, if you want your content to be digitally secured, then in that scenario you would require DRM info APIs to get your content secured or encrypted. The TV info APIs allow you to get the TV captions and the menu settings. The widget data APIs are used a lot in the headers, like, which is used for storing and reading a content of applications over secure storage. If you want to get a network information like the DNS, the IP, the MAC, the type, or etc. over the network, the device, then network APIs are used for it. For the multimedia content and playback, which are, like, I would be discussing a scenario for it popularly, we would be using AV player APIs. And then we have APIs microphone. If you want to create applications like karaoke, where you want to store the audio input, then microphone APIs will be used. A smart controller allow you to get the events from the smart devices, like those are 6 data access devices, like you can eventing from the smart device. And ad framework allow you to insert and to schedule your ad between your multimedia content playback. The last 3 sets of API, that is ASF, device discovery and provides, are for those which share all share framework. ASF stands for all share framework APIs, which connects with the DLNA compatible devices by using device discovery. So all those DLNA compatible devices come under this category. Then you have provider API, which allow you to share the media content between those DLNA devices which you connected. So this was all about the web and the TV product API. Now the popular scenario where this seems to fit, like for the end user, is like one of the VOD applications. So VOD applications allow you to play back your content either like offline or you are streaming from the content server. So if you are doing this, you want your content to be digitally secured. In the same, you would be using DRM info APIs. So here, this makes sure the content which are delivered to the TV are secured, won't be doable to a piracy or this. Then you have a AV player APIs to get a multimedia playback content. Definitely it's a VOD application. There is some content which is being like audio or video. Then you would require AV player API to play the content. For audio control, you can use the audio control APIs, and for content browsing over the application, in the scenario you would be using input device APIs to get the messaging from the devices that are like keyboard, mouse, gamepad, etc. The second scenario would be an application, information applications, which give you the information regarding the subject. Now what does this regarding the subject means? Like, I have an application wherein I want to create calendar, I want to create timer or something like this. So TV have a APIs, time APIs, which allow you to get these application on the scenario. So in this, the file system play a vital role, means like if I want to store some content of my information on the devices, then in that scenario, I would be using the file system which is provided by my device. And of course, the smart controller for eventing and DRM if you want your content to be digitally secured. The last one is like most popular one is like convergence applications, which allow you to connect with another devices which are sharing the same network. So those devices which are connecting the same network, we can get information through network APIs. Like network provide you all the DNS and MAC as discussed, so it allow you to get the ASF. Now the one condition for convergence is like they should have DLNA compatibility, which is like make ensured by device discovery by returning the specific ID of connected devices, and the provider info APIs allow you to share the content between those connected devices. Now this was all about the web and TV product API. Avnish would be taking up the multi-screen and Caph in detail.
Thank you, Ajit. So we talked about web device APIs and TV product APIs. Now let's talk about the other two APIs. So first is the multi-screen APIs. What exactly it offers? So multi-screen API actually give you power, your application the power to extend it to the big screen. So think this as a scenario wherein you have two applications, one running on a TV and one running on mobile phone. So the application that is running on a TV is for public viewing, so it is in open space, whereas the application that is running on a mobile is your private space, so private to you. Secondly, your mobile application controls the TV application. Okay. Now let's see how this works. So very simple, 3 steps. Discover, that means your mobile application discovers the TV application. Launch means your mobile application launches the TV application. And finally, communicate. Both the applications communicate using messages and commands. So let's take a look what kind of applications can be created using multi-screen APIs. So you can create applications like app casting. So what exactly we mean by app casting? Wherein you have a mobile application, you are launching an application on the TV from your mobile, and that application can directly be launched from the remote control on the TV. Secondly, you can also launch a cloud based application on the TV from your mobile application. No icon, nothing is visible on your TV for that kind of an application. It directly streams out on the real time. But the point that to be noted out here is we are having two separate applications on two devices. Mobile has a separate application and TV has a separate application. Coming on to the next one, the media casting. So wherein you can play videos, photos and music. So it is very different from screen mirroring. So it is not screen mirroring. So I am clarifying that right now. So here also you have the TV being controlled by your mobile application. The content that is played on the TV is either on the TV or coming from the internet. So the photos, music or the videos are actually on the respective TV and are coming or downloaded from the internet. So that is why it is different from screen mirroring. The third category is the most happening category nowadays, that is a multi-user scenario where you have shared experiences. Shared experiences means, let us take an example of a multi-user game wherein the game is installed onto mobile phones and a TV. So each of the user is having its own view, the mobile user and the TV user. So these kind of applications you can create using multi-screen APIs. The important thing to point out here is that TV acts as a main controller in this scenario. So the logic is on the TV side. So that was a brief about multi-screen APIs. Now let us talk about the last category, Caph. Caph is a web application framework that enables you to develop web applications easily and quickly as per the consumer needs. feature rich and impressive applications can be created using Caph. Caph actually optimizes the entire application by accelerating graphics rendering, preloading of data, and application cache techniques. Caph also provides a common set of UI widgets to enable faster prototype development for the users. So let us see what Caph consists of. So Caph consists of 3 packages: Caph Base, Caph UI, and Caph Theme. Caph Base. Caph Base provides you object oriented infrastructure. That means you can extend Caph framework for your needs. It provides APIs like jQuery and provides 2 kind of animations: timeline based animations and transform animations for DOM and CSS elements. Caph UI. Caph UI gives you accelerated UI controls. So for an application developer to develop an application, it becomes quite easy with having a preset of controls, and that too as per Tizen TV UX specifications. Besides that, it provides you various views, layouts, internal focus management, and accessibility features, so that developers can create heavy UI based applications easily. Caph Theme. Caph Theme provides you predefined themes. Once you have a predefined themes, creating new applications as per the Tizen UI is very easy. Besides that, you can also customize the themes and extend these themes. So let us see how Caph performs better. So the Caph team actually have optimized Caph on the framework level as well as on Tizen web engine level to give you responsive user interface. On a framework level, Caph utilizes app caching and selective loading. If you can see out here the graph depicts a comparison between a jQuery application and a Caph application. The blue bars depict the jQuery ones and the white bars represent the Caph application elements. So here lower is better. So you can see that Caph performs well in that scenarios. On the other optimization sides, that is on the framework side, Caph accelerates animations and graphics rendering using GPU. It even optimizes the low level handling of textures so that developers can have a very responsive application. So now let us take a look how Caph gives you the power of extensibility. So even though Caph has many features, but still when we develop applications we come across, can I do this, can I extend this scenario? So Caph provides that features. How? You can create custom components. As I told, it supports OOPS, object oriented programming, so you can derive your controls. So you can create your custom components, the UI components that has been provided by Caph can be expanded. The custom themes that Caph provides can be extended to give you different layouts. Thirdly, you can also use an external framework like the Angular, jQuery with Caph. So depending on your comfort zone. Now let's see what kind of web UI controls Caph offers. So Caph offers you a web and accelerated UI controls like list, dim HTML, layout with respect to list and tabular part. Besides this, Caph offers you various layouts, because these days layouting is very important with respect to application development. So Caph gives you power to lay out your user interface or the contents using many different layouts, fluid, relative and tabular, etc. So let's talk about some of the application scenarios or the applications that can be developed using Caph. So if you are working on a movie based applications, having your movie content playing on, and you want different kind of a layouting, so you can use Caph. If you are working on a gallery or a video on demand application that has media as well as the metadata is the content section, and you have to store that content section right efficiently, and then you also need to have various layouts from that. So Caph gives you that power. Lastly, if you have a graphics rich application like card space UI kind of an applications, right? So Caph provides you 3D capabilities for that and the various layouts like list. So that was a brief all about the different development APIs that Tizen TV SDK provides. Now let's talk about the. Can I take it in the later session? That will be helpful for me. Thank you so much for understanding. So we'll talk about the development tools. TV SDK provides you a web simulator to simulate TV environment, an emulator to give you a feel of the real stack of TV, the code editor, you call it IDE, right, for development, and web inspector for debugging your applications. So let's see one by one what each section has to offer. The Tizen TV web simulator comes bundled with your Tizen TV SDK once you download it. It is a very lightweight component, so you can check out or run UI based applications created using standard web technologies and web device APIs that we covered just before. So you can check out those APIs how they are working here. It also provides you various input simulations like keyboard, mouse, Remocon, and gives you full debugging support using web inspector. Now if you want to check out applications very specific to TV, they are using TV product APIs. So emulator gives you that emulation of a real TV stack. So you can run applications that are extensively using TV product APIs using your emulator. The emulator also emulates hardware and software specifications, so that you can change that, like memory, resolution, DTV region. So these are variations you can do using emulator, besides providing you the debugging support out here. Now let's talk about a scenario where we are running an application on an emulator and we are running an application on a TV. So what are the considerations for that? So Tizen TV SDK gives you a tool in TV SDK called as Connection Explorer that allows you to run your application directly on the TV. So you just need to give the IP of the TV to the respective tool and it will run your application on the TV and you can get the logs in the emulator. Okay. But the things that need to be considered while running those applications, because you are emulating and you are running it directly on the TV, and in the emulator, if you are running only on emulator, you are emulating things. The first thing is, based on different set of TVs, different specifications of TV, the memory of the TV varies. So depending on the TV model. Then the screen size and the resolution of the TV also varies depending on the TV model. The performance of the TV depends on hardware and platform that it supports, that is running currently. Your input device response time may vary on the TV or on an emulator. And finally, the audio video functionality that the particular TV supports, the network part can vary. So these are the considerations when you run it an application on a device, on an actual device. Now let's take a look at the remaining two tools, that is code editor and web inspector. So for that, Ajit will take you forward.
Starting with code editor, when you hello, check. Yeah, starting with the code editor, when you create a new project on Tizen SDK, it gives you the two interface or the two wizard, wherein one is a template selection where you can select the template. It has three types of template. The first one is basic, wherein in some header files you will find the tags and you can start development. The empty one is the one wherein you need to develop an application from scratch. And the third is a Caph framework, which already been discussed, which provide you the application packaging of Caph. The second interface is a project selection, which allow you to select your project and start running your application. These are some ready-made codes available. You can build your code on top of it and start deploying it on the TV emulator or simulator. The next thing we will see is the layout of IDE. So this IDE is an Eclipse-based framework. So the layout would be most probably similar which you have saw on Eclipse. So the one is Project Explorer, where you will have a tree view of your open and closed projects. The second is a Connection Explorer, where you can see a hierarchical view of like the devices which you have created with their file system. Editor is a place where you can edit your XML, HTML file or CSS3 files. Problem and console will get you into the logs of IDE, and console is for logging activity. Outline will give you the idea of file which is open in editor. It is like you will have all the functions being listed here. You can find and debug it like which function relate to which line number. The outline will be specifying it. And last is a property panel, which give you a preview of images, resources, or like the element tag which are being used in the editor. Next is web inspector. As you know, like JavaScript is complexity is increasing day by day, so we would be requiring more robust tool to find the layout issues and to fix them. So for this like Tizen provide a robust web inspector tool. There are a lot task-oriented tabs there on the Web Inspector, but I would be discussing 4 of it, which are like mostly used among us. The first one is a element tab. The element tab provides you a DOM view structure of your application. This is a tree-based structure wherein you can activate and deactivate the breakpoints on fly to debug your layout. So here you can dynamically add an element or can delete an element to get it reflected on the UI, which is presented either on emulator or simulator. The style pane get you a control of style the CSS element. Here you can create your live CSS on the element tag, probably most of us use while debugging it. And it do have a event listener with it, wherein you can see the attach event to the DOM part. And the last is box model. The box model comes like very handy if you want to get the content width and height. So the box model tells about the content width and height, then it will tell what's the padding and border with its margin. So like if you want to adjust your any of the div panel onto the UI layout, you would be using for calculation the box model. The next thing comes is like network. This is used mostly for profiling, like the scenario wherein you will see like how much time it is taking the resource to get it loaded up into the memory. So this is used for recording the network activity, like how much size it takes while caching it and what's the response header size. So network comes like with, we have a name, the name of the object which is getting loaded up in memory. Now it has a method, whether a get or post, we will see it. Then we have a status code, whether 200 or redirected or 505, it give you the status. Then the initiator script give you the path where the item is getting loaded up. And then we have a waterfall model for all the elements which are loading in the memory. This will help you to calculate like which file take the most time to get into the memory. In this way, you can do some profiling and debugging to reduce the content size. The third one is resources. This is majorly used when you are using your local storage or session storage, or when you uses cookies. You want to analyze like in cookies what data are there stored. Then you can even have a IndexedDB and Web SQL by HTML5, wherein you can have Web SQL commands line to interact with the SQL queries, and IndexedDB lets you to get what's there on the device storage, like if you are using some external files, so things getting stored in the local storage. The last one is console, like which is popularly used among all of us. It's a command line console where you can log your activities. So it provides you the message stack where the same types of message are stacked together. If I do have a error message, it's come together. If I am having a log activity, it's come together. So console is a global object which is available in the console. Means you can type console.info, console.debug, console.log to get the console whatever object you want to print in the console. Even from console, you can control your document object. Like if you create an object like document.getElementID, you can get an object instance and you can directly do a manipulation to see the results. So this was all about the tool suite. Now, like one of the concern which might arise, if you have a old generation application, then how to make a Tizen portable to it. So there are easy 5 steps for it. The first step is to download the SDK with their release notes, which is very much available on Samsung D forum, and you can see the release note for the platform for which you are downloading up. The second step is like your existing solution, you need to delete config and widget info file. The third one is, this is an Eclipse framework, so we have a GUI interface where you can create your Tizen project. So third is to create a Tizen project in Eclipse ID. The fourth step is to either import the solution into the newly created project in Tizen ID, or you can directly replace the files in the folder. And the fifth step is to compile your code, and if there are no errors, then you are ready to go. You can certify the same application on the TV. So this was all about the migration. Now I would be taking you to a tour to Tizen store. So please enjoy the video.
video depicting the app registration process. So as we talked in the initial slides, we covered applications that can be created using Tizen. Then we covered the development APIs, we covered the development suite, and finally we covered the registration process. So now let's take a look where you can get all this information. So you have a one-stop information shop, that is Samsung D forum, wherein you can get all informations that we mentioned regarding how to download an SDK, what platforms for different platforms, documentation, API reference, sample applications, UX guidelines. So everything available on Samsung D forum. Some more development resources. So if you want existing applications created by some other developers, so GitHub is a place where you can get multimedia, game, etc., all applications with code. Then if you want a day-to-day news regarding Tizen SDK, then Tizen blog is there, where you can get each day detailed information and updates regarding Tizen TV SDK. The seller side gives you information regarding registration of your app. So what all steps you need to follow to register your app, that is the WGT package that you created, we talked about that. And finally, to get partner SDK and how to become partner, that is available on partner site, so you can go through it and get the details. Lastly, before I end, we have the demo of SDK going on in the demo area, so you can go there and check out in detail the SDK and its features. Tomorrow we'll have the development workshop at 10 a.m. in ballroom 2, where we'll showcase you live demo of creating an application using Tizen TV SDK and deploying it on a Tizen TV. So you can get that information there. So do visit there for more details and continuing this session. That's all from my side and from my friend Ajit. So we covered Tizen TV SDK today. Thank you for coming and have a nice day. I need to take the questions the gentleman asked me, right? But because time is not permitting me, so let's take it offline, right? So I'll be there here, so we can discuss that, right? So sorry for that, right? So we'll discuss that offline, right? So that's why I was just asking to continue. Thank you so much for coming. Have a nice day.